Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. It is 10 o'clock. I'm Tim Harris. That means it's time for 10 with Tim. Man, I just love this time. I love you guys. Thank you for spending time in the Word with me today. We're in Mark chapter 5, verses 1 through 20. We're going verse by verse through the whole Bible. Right now, we're in the Gospel of Mark. It's good, isn't it? It's just really good. Today is, I don't know, just one of the most fascinating stories, I think, in the Gospels. And we've been reading through Mark now for what is nearly 5 chapters. We've been talking so much about how Mark, just abbreviates things and just flies through stories. But you notice how this story is just sort of loaded down with detail. I mean, Mark doesn't rush through this story at all. And I just find that really kind of fascinating. I'm not sure why. I'd love to know your ideas, but for whatever reason, Mark slows down and takes some time with this story, and I think it's fascinating. So it's right after Jesus calms the storm from yesterday, chapter 5. They arrived at the other side of the lake, which is, again, Jesus said, hey, let's go to the other side of the lake. And the storm came, and Jesus said, you're on the other side, you're going to the other side, and they're on the other side now. But look what happens. This is true to Mark. I mean, nobody catches a break. I mean, it's just action, action, action. So, man, it just sounds like, they come out of the storm, they get on on the shore, and all of a sudden, this wild animal of a man comes tearing out of the tombs. I mean, this is like a horror movie. It really, really is. It's just amazing. And this guy lives in the burial caves. I mean, can you imagine being a kid growing up in this town and sneaking out to see, the ghost man, whatever? I mean, this guy is dangerous. This guy is feared. This guy is despised. Oh my goodness. I mean, again, it's like a horror movie. Now, what I think is interesting is when Mark's telling this story, you get to verses 3, 4, and 5, and all of a sudden, you get this whole backstory, which could only the townspeople could tell you this. Like, this is the kind of thing you'd find out if you went up, down to Rich Pond Market and sat down with some of the old men, and they tell you about this guy that, hangs out at the cemetery. I mean, this is what the townspeople could tell you, and only the townspeople. Again, just trying to think about Mark and how he sources his gospel, where he gets his information. Again, only the townspeople could tell you this, that he lives in the burial caves. They've tried to restrain him. They've chained him up. They've tied him to ropes, but whatever you tie him with, he can snap, iron chains and, smash the shackles with his bare hands. Nobody's strong enough to subdue him. You see what I'm saying? Like, you don't know that when you just get off the boat and here he comes running and slobbering toward you. This is the backstory that somebody before or after had to sit down and tell you. And again, I just think that's interesting. Day and night, he wandered among the caves, howling and cutting himself with stones. I think one of the reasons that Mark slows down on this story is to try to give us a fuller picture of the nature of evil, the nature of the devil, and what his actual goal or what his function is in relation to his antagonism of human beings. And here you get a pretty good example of what happens when he gets his way. This man isn't just taken over, with one bad spirit. I mean, it turns out, man, he is a rat's nest of demons, which again is so pathetic. I just mean, like, your heart's got to break for this man. I don't know how you end up with a legion of demons inside of you. But something tells me that you have to open the door, one at a time. Nobody just gets possessed, with 1,000 demons in a day. I mean, little by little, one at a time. And that's why you must be very, very careful when it comes to flirting with the devil, just opening yourself to evil in any way. I had this conversation with a young man on Sunday who still kind of is a little bit fascinated with the devil, and he doesn't really want to make a full commitment to follow Jesus because he really does enjoy. I mean, and for him, it really is the devil. I mean, he has this attraction to the devil, and I'm just trying to convince him, the devil would kill you if he could. You must not think for a moment that the devil's going to give you anything good that he promises you. He would kill you if he could. It is the image of God in a person that the devil despises. And that's why he would destroy you in any way that he can, but he can't. And so even with all of these, demons, in this man, he howls, and he seems like he's not even human anymore. He cuts himself with sharp stones. I mean, I think the implication there is, he's nearly suicidal. He'd harm himself, but even yet, this man still continues to be a man. He continues to have that mark of the image of God in him. And so Jesus comes, even from a distance away. The man comes shrieking, screaming, slobbering, snotting, and comes and bows before him. And it's sort of like in previous encounters with evil in the Gospel of Mark. He starts, screaming out Jesus' name. It's interesting. He calls him Jesus, not a divine name like, Son of the Most High God, which he is going to call him as well, but Jesus. He calls him Jesus. Jesus, Son of the Most High God. In the name of God, I beg you, don't torture me. Isn't that interesting? Again, once more, he's not, calling Jesus by these divine names as a means of trying to worship or show respect. In a spiritual showdown, it is the knowledge of the name that gives you authority. And so understand, the demons in this moment are trying to seize control, by claiming Jesus's name and by confronting him by name. Again, there's a sense in which this is a showdown, and that's meant to take control. So Jesus, immediately, come out of the man. What is your name? So Jesus is going to use his divine authority and demands the name of the demon. My name is Legion. Again, you can debate on what that name means exactly. I mean, you can say, well, it means a squadron of soldiers, 1,000. So he's got 1,000 demons, or I don't know if it's 1,000. I don't know. I'm just saying that, there's a technical use of this, in Roman tradition, but I don't know if the demon is using it technically. Maybe the demon has chosen this powerful name, which means we are many. I don't know. 2,000 pigs all die on the same day. So some people say, gosh, if every demon takes a pig, then there's 2,000 demons. I don't know. The fact is, Jesus takes control. He grabs the demon's name, commands him. But then this bargain here, the evil spirits beg him again and again, don't send us away. Why are they? I don't understand how demons work. I'll just be honest. I don't understand why they want to stay so close to home. Don't send us away. Don't send us far away. I don't know what that means. Just to be honest, does anybody? Don't send us away. And then they beg to be sent into the pigs. Personally, I don't know why Jesus doesn't just, stomp them like bugs. He's got the authority. It wouldn't take, a flick of his little finger to destroy them for eternity. I don't even know why we're talking to them, I think most scholars, most, religious thinkers here, Christian preachers, say that it's not time. Jesus is going to destroy evil all at once, but not yet, not now. And so for that reason, he's not going to destroy them. He allows them to continue, but he won't let them continue to afflict people, won't let them continue to afflict this man or anybody else. So they go into the swine, the pigs, and instantly the pigs, run off a cliff. That is the intention. And when Jesus lets them go into the pigs, everybody knows what's going to happen, except maybe the pigs. I mean, this is what their plan is, that they're going to destroy the pigs. I mean, like I said, they'd kill the man if they could. They'd kill you if they could, but they don't have that kind of power over, a human that has a will and the image of God in us. And so they are able, though, to just, destroy the pigs instantly. And so the pigs rush off the cliff. The man is set free, and the townspeople are afraid and angry. I've preached about this at times, and I'm always interested on how when somebody gets set free like this, it's always going to make somebody mad. I don't understand that necessarily. But when you get set free from your sin, when you get set free from the evil and what oppresses and possesses you, somebody's going to lose some pigs, and they're not going to be happy about it. When you were an addict, when you were enslaved to sin, and then somehow, the Lord changed the story of your life. Weren't there people who just weren't excited, weren't happy for you? And it's just interesting how people just have that inability to celebrate. And again, indeed, some people, and these guys actually lost a pig here, lost their pigs, and so they want Jesus out of here. It's interesting how Jesus tells this man, hey, number one, the man begs Jesus, can I just come with you? Can I come with you? It sounds like he's applying for discipleship, honestly. Remember early on when Jesus was inviting the 12, created the 12, they were first just called to come be with him. And that's all this man is asking for. Can I just come be with you? I guess when you lived in town and you've been the most hated man in town for all these years, and every kid in town's been, throwing rocks at you for, forever, you'd rather just get out of town. But Jesus says, no, you need to go back home. You need to go back home and be reconciled to all the people that you've been, driven away from for so long. Go back home and be a person, be a son, be a husband, be a father, whatever. Go back to your family and tell them what I've done for you. This is in direct, contrast with everything. And we talked about this, was it yesterday? When Jesus tells him, hey, don't tell anybody. He raises him from the dead. He's going to do it tomorrow with, Jairus' daughter. Don't tell anybody. But it's interesting here. He's like, hey, go tell everybody what I've done. I think the only difference here is that these are Gentiles. Don't forget, this is like of all the things Jesus, all the places Jesus goes and all the people he deals with, man, these are, two Gentile towns here. If you don't believe me, ask the pigs. They raise pigs, y'all. They're not Jewish people. And so it's interesting that among the Gentiles, Jesus says, oh yeah, go tell everybody what I've done. So I just think that's kind of interesting, a fascinating story. We'll pick up right here for tomorrow. Pick up in verse 21. I love this. I love what happens next. I love this woman who sneaks up behind Jesus and touches the hem of his robe. I love the story of the healing of Jairus' daughter. And we'll do all that tomorrow. So we'll finish out chapter 5 tomorrow at 10 o'clock, Lord willing. So join me then. But read ahead. Stay in the Word. It's a beautiful day. Give God glory and praise Him in everything you do and say today. And I just want to say one more time, I love you guys. Have a great afternoon, and I will see you tomorrow. All right? Have a good one.